good meridian, everyone. What? What the hell's he talking about? We were just, before we came on air, we were just talking about how things get their name, which is interesting because we were doing this like in our Craft of the Wise class yesterday, and it's interesting that we learn language by rote from birth, and we don't really think about the words and all that sort of stuff until you start looking at other languages and digging a bit deeper.
Dissecting,
yeah.
pondering.
So we all take, for example, what AM and PM means, but do people know, for example, it's ante-meridian and post-meridian? Meridian being that when the sun is directly overhead or at its zenith in the sky, noon as it were, which is the time, curiously enough, we came on air. So there you go.
So
happy noon.
Happy noon.
Happy noon.
Good Monday, everybody.
And happy Monday. And let's see who we've got.
Slide over and write down everybody peeps.
Oh my goodness gracious me. Okay, the world has turned up while we were just
we've
nattering
got
amongst ourselves.
Savannah, Geraldine, Gilda, Anna,
Kaz, Sean.
Wait.
Sorry. Just hold on, talk amongst yourselves, viewers.
Kaz, Sean.
Geraldine. We got Geraldine? Did I say Geraldine?
Yeah, Geraldine was Helena Rose.
Savannah, we said. Susan's here. And there you go. Right. Well, if anybody else is here, because I see there's a whole bunch of people. I also see that the number of likes does not anywhere near match the number of people that are watching. So if you would be so kind as to mash that like button, that would be just fabulous. There you go. Marvellous.
Right. So I think I'll start by saying, if you haven't fashioned a tinfoil hat for yourself just yet.
Oh, God knows. Run away! No.
If you haven't fashioned a tinfoil hat for yourself just yet, you may want to go to the kitchen drawer or wherever you keep your foil and...
aluminum foil.
Foil.
Yes, right. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome to our channel.
You might want to put one on.
So there you go.
All right.
Gosh.
People.
Gilda says, I love the green names. Well, let me tell you what those green names are all about. That means you people are wonderful, esteemed channel members. You have chosen to support us, and we need the support. We're very grateful.
My hat is ready. Okay. Tinfoil hats?
Oh, yes, Savannah.
Yeah.
There's some weird astrological energies which Lisa's going to dive into, and I'm just going to sit here and probably start drinking heavily.
I think that... I think I'll use the word shocking because that's what the planet Uranus is working on.
Oh, no.
All right. First, I want to just recap a tiny bit.
Okay.
In the beginning of this year, I talked about the shift from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius.
Yes, you did.
And
I recall.
Some of you will recall that. And I kind of explained it like... if we looked at the 2,000 years as a clock face, like we would look at a natal chart, and we said that 11:59 to 12 o'clock, that 60 seconds was one tick on the clock, and 12 o'clock to 12:01 was the second tick on the clock.
Click.
Right? So 11:59 to 12 is moving from one day to the next if it were moving into midnight, right? Okay. So if we look at this as the age instead of a clock, but using the clock face, this 2,000 years, let's say, just so for understanding, it's not precise, but just for understanding, that 1960 to 2020, those 60 years were one tick on the clock. Right?
So 60 years was effectively a minute or a second or whatever.
Well, a second, really.
Maybe a second,
whatever.
I suppose.
It's not accurate. I'm just
years.
trying to purvey...
It's an analogy. I get
portray this understanding.
An analogy.
It's an analogy.
Yes.
So then from 2020 to 2080 to 2080 will be the next tick on the clock.
And we're just sort of into the 20s.
So we're
now,
really living in this transition time,
the
right?
roaring 20s.
1960 to 2080.
Oh my goodness.
That period of time, that 120 years, is really establishing the letting go of the old aeon and moving into the new one.
Well, look how much has transformed just in my short lifetime so far.
Right.
You know, how much has transformed. It's unreal.
Then the next thing I want to establish is when planets change signs, right? So they're going along, da 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 da.
Do the planets always sing?
And then, no.
Okay.
And then they'll change the sign, and then they'll retract their steps a little bit, or it's called retrograde. They don't really go backwards, but they appear to. And in astrology, we look at that as a recap or a redo, the retrogrades, right? To a chance to do over.
Yes, yes.
And for those of you who are around in the beginning of the year, I said, we're going to be reliving.
Oh, no.
Right? Remember I said we're going to be reliving
I think you mentioned the 70s or
the
something.
60s, 70s, and 80s in particular in this beginning part of our tick, right? So it's kind of like the year that the eon changes into the age of Aquarius, 1960. We're in the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius. Oh, now we've made it over the line, 2020, 21, 22, 23. But now we have to recap and see if you learned any lessons that you're going to get to redo, and then we'll come forward again, right? So that's why you need that period of 120 years. I hope that makes sense. What is Savannah saying?
It's Helena, actually.
Oh.
And she says, okay, technically, yes, planets do sing. An astrophotographer shared sound waves captured from Saturn's rings. Sorry, I just had to nerd out a little. Of course, Saturn
All right.
rings. Where do you think the word ring comes from? Bing!
Oh, dear.
Sorry.
Hi, Wendy.
Hello, Wendy. Hello, Jen as well. Hello.
All right.
Welcome.
So, we are in this transitional phase.
Yes.
And we are definitely reliving 60s, 70s, and 80s. Okay? So I want to start to start there with that little bit of recap.
with that little caveat.
See
Everything.
today's
Oh, no,
page.
notes. She's got notes.
All right. So Saturn has gone direct. It was
Yes.
retrograde because Saturn is changing signs.
Yes.
Right? So Saturn it went direct, and we'll start to see things moving now. And what does Saturn govern? What does Saturn take
it's
care of?
Time restriction, isn't it?
Karma.
It is. It's sit down, you're going to learn something. And it's generational.
So
It's
that
orbits
lovely
generation.
curse that says, may you get everything you deserve, is going to be put in play.
Well, no,
So
that could be
if
good.
you have built good karma, you'll start to see things now moving towards being able to reap what you have sown.
Well,
Right? If
I
you've
hope
put
that
down
works for us.
good karma,
We've
you're
been
going to
trying
start
hard.
receiving some good karma.
We've been trying hard.
If you have not done very good things, you may be experiencing some retribution for that. All right, so I can finally wear my leisure suit again. Now, where's my... Yeah,
No,
well,
God, no. Shell suits, no. Should be a law against them or whatever you
right.
call them.
so right now, Jupiter is also retrograde at around 10 degrees Taurus. So it's just kind of like hovering. And Jupiter is the great benefactor.
Expands.
But it hasn't had a chance to really do its good work.
Do its
So I have
thing.
to wait a little bit for that. All right. Now, I said we're going to be reliving the 70s, and it's a very layered thing, like the 60s, 70s, and 80s. We're seeing a lot of things that we could say are familiar in a way, or parallel to. Yeah? I mean, for goodness sakes, do you know what happened this last week musically?
Well, yes, I do, actually, because you were all revved up about it.
The Rolling Stones launched a new album, and the Beatles released a new hit single.
Yes, a new Beatles record. Well, it
Right?
wasn't new. It was actually recorded in the 70s.
Yes, 1978. John Lennon cassette.
finally the technology presented itself where they could isolate
His voice from the piano track, yeah.
from a pretty awful cassette recording and make
But
sense
this
of
is
it.
what I'm saying. Look for these things to clues, right? You could kind of say, okay, we had that whole Vietnam thing, and now we have another conflict that we're being drawn into.
Multiple conflicts, which is kind of concerning, frankly.
I'll get to that in a minute. Now, if you know your astrological chart, if you know your natal chart, you want to pay particular attention to the house that is Taurus and the house that is Scorpio.
In your own chart,
In your
where
own
that
natal
falls
chart,
in your own
right?
chart. So there's going to be an
So-
offset depending on what's on your ascendant.
Right, like Taurus usually, Taurus is the second house,
Natively. Yeah.
but you have a 1 in 12 chance of having that birth chart with Taurus in the second house. But you want to look to this where you have Taurus and where you have Scorpio. Because we're going to have a new moon, which means it's in the same sign as the sun.
Right.
So the sun and the moon are going to be 20 degrees Scorpio. And directly across from them in opposition, and if you think of the word oppose, it's not happy,
Yeah.
to another interesting conjunction, right? Because the sun and the moon are operating as one when things are conjunct. Yeah. So Uranus, the planet of chaos, panic, and disorder, is going to be acting as one with Mars in
dear.
Taurus. They are both at 21 degrees.
What could possibly go wrong with that?
All right. So I've been saying for a while that this Uranus conflicting energy is giving us seismic activity, right? And you remember I got scared myself a little bit because I said, we were going to have an earthquake and then a flood and right? So there's a website, earthquakeusgs.gov.
Oh, that's the U.S. Geological Survey's website. Yeah,
right.
so which portrays and tracks earthquakes. Yeah,
Only
yeah.
earthquakes that are 2.5 or bigger.
Well, yeah, anything less than that is a bit of a tremor, I guess.
How many earthquakes do you think that website recorded for us yesterday?
I have no chuffing idea, but I imagine quite a surprising amount by what you're about to say. Just
Right now, we know this past week Nepal was hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was quite a strong one. I mean, that's obviously on a fault plane as well.
Are we ready?
Go on.
26.
26.
26 earthquakes across the globe at 2.5 or larger, including one in Yellowstone, Montana.
I think they are more common though in Yellowstone.
Yeah, it was a smaller one.
Right.
But I really think that we're going to see, again, physical things happening, earthquake, possible volcanic activity, because you've got that volatile Mars now. Mars is war and fire and hitting Uranus.
Although the moon is not quite as close to the Earth right now as it was like a month ago, right? So it hopefully isn't going to be quite as bad as it
For
could
flooding.
as it could
for
be.
flooding, right?
Well, it also pulls some magma around inside the core of the Earth.
Yeah. So what are our comments now?
Oh gosh, well, hang on a minute. We've got loads here. So yeah, the conflicts are so heavy, Gilda, and it is hard to stomach any of it.
Well, wait till I get to what's happening.
Unfortunately, no chicken dinner for you, Sean. There probably was way more than 100 earthquakes, but we're talking at 2 on the Richter scale or higher. Was it
2.5 or higher.
2.5 or higher. So.
In one day.
In one day, yes, in one day. What's this? Oh God, Uranus and Mars in my 12th as my rising is 29 degrees Taurus. Oh,
Yep.
tin hat for you then, Susan, I would strongly suggest.
Well, yes, because that's your house of self-undoing. So you're going to be really mindful.
And Savannah says she's been up on Mount St. Helens and the seismograph never stops going off up there. Yeah, well, you know.
So Susan,
say no more.
The other house that's being affected is your 6th house, house of health. So you really want the 11th through the 14th. I think we all have to be very mindful. Now. There is a particular country that's having what's called a Uranus return. That means that the planet is coming back to the place it was when at the country's inception.
Okay.
Right?
So it's natal chart.
So we know that a solar return happens once a year. We have a birthday.
That's why we say many happy returns, just in case you were wondering.
And we know that a Saturn return happens somewhere between 28 and 31, and then again in your late 50s.
Yeah, it varies because obviously the orbit's not round, it's
Right.
elliptical, so it varies from person to
Roughly
person.
29, 30 years, and then it happens again in your late 50s. Well, a Uranus return takes 84 years to come back to the same spot it was in when you were born or when a country was incepted.
Like 8 decades, man.
So, Iran,
I call it
Iran, is having a Uranus return because their natal Uranus is 21 degrees Taurus. Now,
So,
also,
panic, chaos, and disorder.
so this is affecting their 4th and 10th house, which is career or how they're seen in the world, and their home, their physical place of being.
Well, I don't think they garnered a massive amount of respect on the world stage.
Well, let me
with
just say something else.
sponsor of world terrorism and stuff. I
Their
guess.
natal Mars is in Scorpio at 17 degrees. So while they're having a Uranus return, they are also having Mars oppose Mars and Mars oppose Uranus because their natal Mars is across the chart.
It sounds a bit worry to me.
It's not pretty.
Just in my gut.
So Iran so far away.
I ran so far, yeah.
I
If
wish.
only.
All right. So to look at more parallels, we see this Uranus return as an impactful aspect. But we would look towards the last time that planet had an impact.
Well, that's where you get your empirical evidence from, isn't it?
Right.
By observing what happened the last time we had the exact same set of circumstances astronomically or astrologically.
Well, we would never have the exact same set.
Similar.
Well,
Similar.
Right, because all the planets move at different times. But we're talking about isolating Uranus. So if we want to forecast, predict, or try to understand what might be happening on a global level because of this Uranus placement in Iran's chart, we could look at the last big impact of Uranus. So if we said 84 years is a complete return,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
An opposition would be the next biggest occurrence,
Where it's directly opposite
Opposing.
a point where you were.
which
sort of
we're also seeing this Mars oppose Mars, Uranus oppose Mars now. So we'll look to the Uranus opposition. And that would have happened around 42 years ago, right? Because if you take 84, that's a complete cycle,
Half
divide
of
it in half,
42.
you get half a cycle.
Give or take, because obviously the elliptical orbit
Okay.
and that kind of thing.
So that gives us 1981.
Ooh.
What do you think was happening with Iran in 1981?
Well, we were messing there when we shouldn't have been.
We had the Iran hostage conflict. We had Iranian revolution, and we had Israeli Air Force attacking Syria, Reagan in Lebanon, Carter finally freed the hostages, but Reagan screwed him out of the presidency. And when we start looking at what's going on politically now, we can see a lot of parallels between Carter, Reagan, Biden, Trump, Nixon, Trump. There's all kinds of very interesting, again, not exact things, but parallels to inform us.
Would you permit me to just go and grab a book?
Oh, you're going to go get that book by your bed?
I'll share a story with you. You're spooking me out, but I'm just gonna go and get a book.
I know, it's really freaky. I said tinfoil hats to the fore, right? So there is the biggest impact, or what we would call like a direct hit, between the 11th and the 14th. So the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, we may very well see some volatile things happening in the Middle East that involve Iran, that will suck us in. And we're again going to see a lot of things replaying from the 70s and 80s in similar ways. You know, I think I'm just going to listen to the Stones and the Beatles and not worry about everything else. But, you know, if you yourself are able to look back and think about what was going on with you in 1981, 82, like what was happening during that opposition for you. And then you could maybe inform yourself how to be prepared for this coming weekend and the next 6 months or so. Third World War.
Okay, so I'll give you a story about this. This book I first read when I was at Sandhurst in the 80s. And it was suggested it's written by General Sir John Hackett, who was a NATO commander at the time. It was written, I believe, in 1979, and it details the Third World War, which occurred in August of 1985. It's written in a sort of retrospect thing, and the events leading up to it, and they're all pivotal around the Middle East and Taiwan.
Sean, you could Google Iran's chart, and when you find its chart, you'll understand that its Uranus is at 21 degrees.
So it's what was really spooky is I went hunting for this book because I really felt like I wanted to read it again. And I found a copy on Amazon secondhand, and spookily, if I can find it here somewhere, it is at the front.
When was this book written?
1979.
79.
It's long out of print, so you aren't going to get a new copy of it now. The copy of it I actually wrote is the Taiwanese edition, published in Taipei. How do you make that up? Which came from Chinshan Books and Stationery at Chungshan Road, Taipei, Taiwan. Interesting.
Well,
so, you know, it's wise to know the...
That's all you wanted to do? You didn't want to read anything from it?
No, I'm not going to. I don't want to speak anything into being. But if you're that way inclined and fancy a bit of a heavy read, it's interesting. It's partly it's like comments on the world stage. It's not just General Sir John Hackett who actually wrote this by himself, but there are a number of contributions from other people. And the setting on the world stage, as was envisaged back then, seems to be repeating itself now.
Absolutely, because
from 1979 as was when that book was written to where we are, and the events leading up, and the major league unrest in the Middle East in the 80s, and the brinksmanship of the Cold War between Europe and as
Russia,
was the
and then you've got China,
USSR at that point, and China, and it's particularly at the time, although Hong Kong back in 79 was actually part of the British Commonwealth, or British, not Empire, I mean, at that time, but it was ceded back to the Chinese in the 80s.
Oh, we should also look at India's chart too, but
yeah.
This one, Iran's chart really stuck out.
Hello,
if you
Sharon.
go back
Shannon,
to
how you doing?
back to the beginning of our year, I did quote quite a few different countries' charts and predictions.
Well, all we can do, we mere mortals don't have much the ability to do anything other than try and send really, really, really
Well,
good
this
energy
is what we
into the
need to do.
situation
We need to stay calm.
and bring calm.
We need
to
to
it.
not focus on negative things. Like I said, I was joking, but not realize I'm just going to listen to the Beatles and the Stones and pretend it doesn't happen, you know. But I think we also have to understand Joe Biden is Scorpio. So a lot of this is happening on his sun. So he's being really scrutinized and looked at.
It's often said that the first casualty of war is the truth, and the amount of untruths being thrown around at this moment in time. I mean, people have just got used to the fact that people just lie now. You know, make people tell the truth again would be my take to it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Apparently, you got a commercial break in the middle of us speaking. Hopefully, that's nice of them to do that, because you know, a word from our sponsors is. It's probably more important than anything we're saying, right? Yeah, no, we have no control over that. I'm so sorry. Hopefully it came back mid-sentence so you didn't miss anything. Otherwise, just bang it in the comments and we'll try and readdress it.
All right.
Anyway.
So, just pray for peace with all your heart.
I think we have to. I have to. Oh, she's desperate to come in. It's Skittle. I don't know what's up with her. She's just off the chart today. She's
wants
been
hugs.
Super annoying.
She wants hugs.
But she never settles.
What I need to find is a papoose, so I could just strap her onto me, because that's where she'd be happy.
This would be fine, but she claws her way out of everything. So she just claw her way up your neck, and
she's a tiny little terrorist. She's a funny little thing.
A thug,
she's
I'm telling you.
teensy tiny. Teensy tiny. She looks like a 6-month-old kitten, but she's, what did we figure out? She's 13 this year?
She's getting on a bit now. Yeah, she is. But she's, I don't know, she's especially cranky.
15 this year, 2008.
There you go. So yeah, please don't let us freak you out and worry you. But I think it is important to be aware.
Forewarned is forearmed. We need to get on the stick praying for peace, people.
Yeah. You know, it's... man's inhumanity to man. I mean, war does not prove who's right. It merely determines who's left. And it is really, really, really kind of scary and sad and futile. And, you know, when you think of the billions of dollars that are spent in the military-industrial complex and the waging of war.
Killing people who live on less than $1 a day.
Or a month. Or a month, you know? I mean, it's just wrong. It's wrong in so many ways. Yeah, we can always find money for that, but can we find money for universal healthcare? Oh no, that's too expensive, right?
Feeding the hungry?
Feeding the hungry.
Jeff Bezos, no, sorry, wrong one. Elon Musk lost $41 billion recently. He's still the richest man in the world. Some
brilliant business decisions on his part, bless him.
Don't you think he could feed people? 41 billion.
Better to play with rockets. Anyway,
all right,
sorry, we'll get off our soapbox now.
Pray for peace, people. Pray for peace. It's going to be a wild weekend. 11th through the 14th, really, really, every day if you can. Pray for peace.
Yeah, we love everybody. We thoroughly frown on the people who say, you know, us and them and point over there. They're the problem. Them, there. You know, we don't care what you look like, where you're from, who you love, how you worship. These things are utterly irrelevant. They're utterly irrelevant. The colour of somebody's skin is not important. Who they worship, who they love is not important. It is to them. I get that. But to everybody else, why does it matter? Why does it sodding matter? You know, and you know, if we can just instill this in other people, if we can instill this, just try tolerance, try practicing love, try practicing kindness, the world would be a much better place for it. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, Gilda, I understand. It's very distressing.
I get it, girl. I'm right there with you.
He's ex-army too, so.
Yeah, it is. But what can we do? What honestly
we can be aware, and we can work to combat energy with positive energy, right? It's a lesson we probably could have already learned. We don't need to repeat the lesson, but it looks like we may. The only other good thing is Pluto is direct as well now. So even though it's going to take a little while to get back to the station.
They said blanket, fort, and colouring books. It's and hot cocoa. Hot cocoa's good too.
And Beatles music.
I've got huge respect for them. They're prolific songwriters, but I don't know. I've never
Not your favorite band?
No.
I would put them in my top 10, absolutely.
Well, you should.
Beatles,
and
Pat Benatar, Heart, Billy Joel.
But there's a world of difference between Pat Benatar and the Beatles in my mind. But
but I'm diverse. I
that
like
is
John
true.
Denver too, and that couldn't be farther away from Pat Benatar.
Oh no, it's almost time for John Denver and the Muppets album.
Anyway, all right. So first up is Savannah. Your card for the week.
Ah, I love it. Where are we? Savannah.
Ooh, wishes coming true.
I was thinking about this card in bed last night as well. It's just this is one of the ones in Lisa and I's tarot
Moody
deck
Blues
we're
is up
working
there,
on.
yes.
Come on, focus.
All right.
I absolutely love this card. There's so much, and that's half the reason we're talking about meridians and all that malarkey this morning, because I was thinking about this particular fella. But that's a story for another day. I'm not going to burden you with it now. But this is the wish card, Savannah. The wish card. So, a lot of people we've conditioned, or we've been conditioned, I think, at large, to say, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. As if it's a bad thing to have wishes, What's so bad about having wishes? What's bad about that? I wish for world peace and universal love. What's bad about that? What's the downside if we get it? Eschew that conditioning. It's, be careful what you wish for. The shoe doesn't always have to, or there doesn't have to be, a price to pay for something good. It's just negative conditioning, I think, that's been instilled in us from the get-go. So try to eschew that and try to bring yourself into that place of that higher level of thinking, because what you focus on, putting it bluntly, comes into focus. So whatever energies you choose to align with, that's the energy that's going to get multiplied and manifest itself all around you. So wish for good stuff, for sure.
I think this is reinforcing the idea of the power of our thoughts and prayers and wishes. So I think that this week, your focus, like Anton was saying, is going to be the most important thing that you have. Not letting the fear creep in, not letting the worry creep in, and just paying attention to where you're headed and what you want to work on and where you want to be. And also certainly praying for peace and wishing for humanity to wake up to man's inhumanity to man. Really return to the 80s. Yep. All right. So Geraldine is up next.
Some good music in the 80s, I have to say.
Well, that's our generation. Geraldine, I think this is going to prove to you that you're back and that you can get loads of things done, and that you can pay attention to the mundane and the muggle world and things that you have to do, but also find plenty of time to do the things that you want to do.
Yep, you might have a lot on your plate, definitely, but you've got this. You've totally got this, and somehow it's almost like you like to thrive a little bit on chaos, if you'll forgive me, and you do appreciate being noticed for your capability of being able to deal with stuff. Hence the old big red hat there. Look at me, I'm quite capable. And yes, you are. And you deserve the recognition, you deserve a pat on the back. So just claim your place in the sun, juggle your plates on sticks, and have at it, girl. You'll be all right. What we got now?
Gilda is next. You're first. I'm just reading Savannah's comments.
All right. Gilda. Scorpio card for me. This is Scorpio. There's an intensity of emotion here, which I think is, obviously things that are cutting at your core deeply. Bits of your past that are being brought up.
Well, honestly, do think about what you were doing in the early 80s.
That is troubling, and I get it. I understand entirely. But again, understand the most powerful emotion of all is love, and love conquers everything. There is nothing that can conquer love. Love is the only force capable of turning an enemy into a friend. So whilst sometimes the Scorpio way is, we just got to get even, we will get even if it's on our deathbed. That is not necessarily the best way to go, An eye for an eye honestly makes the whole world blind. Restorative justice is far better. But, embrace your emotions. Do maybe have an outlet. Don't internalize stuff. For God's sakes, love, don't internalize stuff. Find an outlet for it. Even if you got to watch a crazy chick flick and have a good cry, or just, I don't know, put some music on and sing very loudly or something.
Well, for me, for me interpreting this card for you today, I think that it is about paying attention to the now. What I'm going to say now applies to everyone, but particularly to Gilda for this card. When we look at astrology, it's called a forecast, much like a weather forecast. So we know that the weather isn't etched in stone.
Ah, no, many variables.
And the stars offer us a forecast, but it doesn't mean that is undeniably our fate, right? For example, if the weather forecast says, hey, it's going to rain, there's going to be a flood, and you have to go out, put on your wellies, right? Your galoshes.
Bit of a raincoat, maybe.
A raincoat and your umbrella if you have to go out. And to me, that's what astrology is about. It's saying, let's be prepared. It's supposed to rain, and it's supposed to rain hard. Let's make sure we have our raincoat and our rubber shoes and our umbrella. Now, if we go out dressed like that because the forecast said it was going to rain, we're all set. If it doesn't rain, no harm done.
Except we have some baggage to carry around.
Right, but no harm done. So just because this is saying pay close attention. This is a Scorpio card. It's the now. We're in the Scorpio time of year.
Yes,
we have some intense energy coming with that new moon. Maybe for you, it's about deciding what the new moon is going to offer you to start new, right? Can you harness the energy of Uranus and Mars in Taurus to stabilize something that you want to push forward for that new moon in Scorpio, right? So be forearmed. If something doesn't happen, fantastic. We were still prepared for it, and we have no harm done. But if we don't take our galoshes and our raincoat and our umbrella and we go out in a torrential downpour, we're going to get wet.
A little dampness.
So avoid not being prepared. All right.
Fascinating, Captain.
Anna.
You go first. Hello, Anna. I didn't see Anna. Oh,
Magician.
That doesn't suck.
The Magician card is ruled by Mercury, believe it or not. I think he's saying to you, your words this week are especially important. We all are going to have that propensity to blast somebody that makes us mad, to just use our tongue to blow them out of the water.
Oh dear.
So just be mindful that you can't unsay something once it's said.
That's true.
And work to be the diplomat, not the...
Yes, diplomacy is the art of getting results by raising an eyebrow, not the roof. Yeah, I could learn from that. Believe me, I could learn from that. I have been known to be as subtle as a flying house brick. This does tell me, though, Anna, that you have the ability to manifest your reality. You know, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. So just keep yourself that level head and chillax a little bit, respond, don't react. If you know there will be some unwarranted and unwelcome stimuli, I think, over this coming week or so.
It's intense Intense.
I think people will speak first and reason later.
Right, we'll check in next Monday and see how everybody's surviving. I've about one more day to go then.
So try to be gracious and not just bite their bloody head off there and then. So
manifest it in the direction you want it to go.
Yeah.
Get them to come along with you rather than,
And I know this may sound terribly trite and almost a little bit patronising to some people, but you know you're above average intelligence, love. You know that. You know, dummy.
Was everybody love today if you turned into Chris? Lovely.
I don't know. I didn't call everybody love.
You called Gilda love? Now
Did I?
It's part of your vocab today.
I don't know. It's just like weird shit going on.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I don't normally. Lovey. I don't normally talk like that. No. But weird. Anyway.
Oh god.
She just totally derailed my train of thought at this point in time. So I think I was saying, you are necessarily, because you are smarter than the average bear boo-boo, that you're going to be encountering a lot of people who you go, isn't it bloody obvious? Don't you get it? Can't you see?
Well, half the population is below average intelligence. I said this to Sean yesterday.
No, they cannot see. They cannot. No, they haven't got it like you've got it. It is not obvious to them. So just bear that in mind and try and be a little gracious would be my 2 cents there. Just don't call me sweetie. I hate that. All right, sweetie, I won't. All right.
You're up first for Cass.
I am. I'll try not to call Cass love then.
Ooh.
Fires are a struggle, but not necessarily always.
I think this is harnessing Mars, isn't it?
Yeah. There is an element of, people capitulated here and, it's just necessary. And the thing that's jumping out at me here, because we were talking about this, because Lisa couldn't believe you spell key, Q-U-A-Y.
Q-U-A-Y is key, yeah.
Yeah, like the Florida Keys, but you spell it K-E-Y. That's a whole different thing. That's the thing that unlocks a lock. Whereas a key is like a key side, where like a wharf, like a part that's built up, part that's built up, where you would actually, you could bring a ship to there alongside a dock or a wharf or something, or a quayside. But it is like a man-made interface between, nature and what we have constructed. And it's almost like we're being reminded here not to try and do battle with nature, because you can't win it. You can't win an earthquake. You can't win a hurricane. You can't win a storm. So we try to build tidal defenses and all that sort of stuff. But nature sometimes just totally laughs at us. If we work in harmony with nature, if we try not to oppose it but work in harmony with it, things go so much easier. And I think that's the lesson here. Try to observe more. I don't know why I'm feeling that. I know this isn't the classic sort of interpretation of this card, Cass, but I think for you, just try to observe more and figure out what's going there before you wind up in a confrontational situation with it.
Okay.
That would be my 2 cents.
So again, this week I've advised everybody to think about, if they're old enough, think about what was going on in their life around 1980 to 1982, because there are going to be a lot of parallels, right? What were you doing for a living? What kind of commitments were you making? What kind of responsibilities did you have? And Uranus is also the planet that governs freedom. So I think this card is saying, even though there has been a struggle and things that you've had to process, that you now hold the sword of control and you can obtain freedom from processing the things from the past.
I don't know, I just got that Janis Joplin, Bobby McGee song in my head there. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose.
Well, yeah, but
Oh, aren't we cheery buggers today?
Sean!
Hello, Sean. You must go first. We'll just let him look at the
Swear
card.
I didn't mark it.
Just look at the card.
All right. This, I think, is all about obtaining information and processing the downloads and rising to the challenges, because sometimes when we really start moving forward on our spiritual path, we get dwellers on the threshold and the naysayers in our minds. And, you know, the last thing the dark side wants is another light worker. So they're going to try to throw us off course or intimidate us in some way. So this is about maintaining the light, not just for yourself, but for others.
I'm just going to chime into what Gilda said. Oh, well, hello, Mousy Girl. Don't know what you're saying there, though. I love the way that Gilda's saying I was born in 80. I have no memories of my early childhood. I'm going to share something with you. I didn't think I had memories of my early childhood too. But I had for the longest time until I was well into my teens an unbelievably strange fear of down escalators. I was petrified to get on one and I had no idea why. Until I found out that my grandmother actually dropped me as a babe in arms on the way onto a down escalator at the Bullring Shopping Centre in
That was in the
Birmingham.
60s.
Oh, yeah, that's nothing to do with the 80s. But you actually do have childhood memories. You just don't remember them.
And I think Mousy Girl was saying that she was pregnant in the 80s.
Okay.
I think
Well,
that's...
yeah, you know, that's...
So that's what I'm saying. Think about what could be parallel to that commitment.
Right,
Are you now having obligation to grandchildren, or are you processing something that had to do with that pregnancy?
We all have deeply repressed memories. Things that we don't remember, we remember, but we do actually remember at a very core level, even if it's deep inside you. Anyway, coming back on now to Sean, the Hermit. Love this card, old soul, but you know that, mate. You know that. I love this, the fact that his eyes are shut, because the lantern he holds up is the light for others to see, not for his own guidance. He has this innate wisdom.
He knows where he's going.
He has it there, and people come. They climb the mountain to seek the guru. They climb the mountain to come and find the enlightenment that he offers. But that light of the emerald tablet is quite simply, you know, that which is above is like that which is below, and that which is below is like that which is above. So, again, it's the as within, so without. What energies are we putting out there? Because they are reflected back to us. So be mindful of that. Yes, be mindful of what it is that you're offering up, especially for others to see. Yeah, if that makes sense to you. Moving on.
Guru
Ganesha.
G-U-R-U. You are you. G. Helena. Wait, you go first for Helena.
What? No.
Well, Mousy Girl, what are you...
I suddenly got into the love guru with my back.
No,
What
no.
is it? You can no.
All right.
Who we got?
Helena.
Helena. Oh. Yeah. Right. Let's what? A lot of head of steam built up here. A lot of wanting
Off with their heads.
Yeah, maybe. A lot of wanting to just drive forwards with a fair amount of gusto here, but not entirely sure what is the appropriate, most appropriate, most apt form of action. Sometimes it's okay to wait. It is. Sometimes it's okay to. I know it's difficult for you. I know you've got this like, I've got to get on with it. But yeah, unless you've got a clear cut plan. Sorry, breaking the teeth in for a friend. Unless you've got a clear cut plan, unless you know exactly what you're doing, yeah, don't go off half cocked. So time spent in preparation, time spent planning is never time wasted. And don't get frustrated that you're having to take a bit of time to refine your plan here, okay? Don't let that frustration get to you, and do not go off half-cocked.
Yeah, I feel like for some reason this is asking you to work to stay grounded. That this particular time for you may be very ungrounding. And if we look at it, we could say, okay, could see how that could be. Uranus rules Aquarius. And even though it's in Taurus, which is a very, fixed earth sign, it wants to shake the earth. So literally it wants to shake things up beneath our own feet. So I think this week is important that maybe you do some base chakra work, focus on roots, focus on staying grounded and staying focused, right? Make sure you hit whatever target it is.
Gilda, I'm not going to read that out because that's definitely your own business. But now you know the reason, you can begin to make amends with that internally and realize that none of that was ever your fault, and it's okay. And I think once you come to that realization deeply and accept it wholly and completely, I mean, it's obviously, there was something triggered that with me that I had no idea what it was. Completely irrational. I was fine on an up escalator, but completely irrational. I just couldn't get on a down escalator. Every ounce of my being was like this, riddled with anxiety, and I'm not really given to that. And so, once I had that explanation, though, that was it. It just like, I grokked it.
You can
completely.
process it. That's what I'm saying. When I say process something, I don't mean that you forget it.
No.
Or you lock it away. I mean you take whatever lesson you can from it. You, like you said, you understand this was not my fault, and let me see why I played a part in it, or what my part was in it, or what lesson was there for me to understand and not have to repeat, Mm-hmm. And we do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's key that the recognition that, because we all tend to get frustrated at ourselves if we find ourselves not totally in control of the machinery. And there's like, why am I fit? Why have
How
I got
does this work? I don't understand.
I don't get it. Why have I got this knot of anxiety or whatever? And we get mad at ourselves, which doesn't help. And then we blame ourselves for getting mad at ourselves, which doesn't help even more. So once you can rationalize, once you can say, that's it. And then the blame comes out the picture. Then you can start to come to terms with it, process it, as Lisa says.
Because
it's not forgetting.
The whole part of living is reacting and responding to situations, right? And when we're holding on to negative energy, and when I say negative, I don't necessarily mean things we shouldn't look at, like anger or grief or jealousy, or the things that could be perceived as things that stop us or block us. The idea is to say, okay, why am I angry? Why am I jealous? How can I, process this grief and come to a place of light and love again? They're just all things for us to work on. And it's not necessarily a punishment or, like you said, a thing you should be guilty for.
Right.
It's just part of what you are here to
it's
do
the road
and work
that brought
out,
you here. It's the road that brought you here.
Right.
All of our experiences, all of the things that we go through, and welcome Venus to our channel, by the way. And if you've got an S on the end of your name, you're a hell of a tennis player. Thank you for joining us.
And first for Susan. Susan. A lot of stuff getting done around the house. Now, I just feel like there is some sort of extra money or budgeted money that is coming that you can count on. I don't know that it's going to be a lottery win, but it might be like a refinancing or something very positive that gives you the funds you need to be able to get the things in order that you want to get in order for the winter. I feel this is a very positive card for you regarding preparation. There
you go. This is This is for who again?
Susan.
Oh, Susan. I think this is just, I don't know, I'm feeling like the old established, you know, you would say old money, but I don't really feel it's necessarily old money. I think it's just like reconnecting with something that's very precious, a precious tradition for you, which I think is good, and it's definitely got strong familial ties. You know, it's been around for, it's part of your heraldry, part of your heritage, and I think it's part of you growing, because the one thing on this card that jumps out at me is the arrangement of the 10 pentacles on here, because they are in fact, you know, the Sephiroth on the
Tree,
Kabbalah,
yeah.
on the tree. So it's definitely about part of your own personal development and, you know, your spiritual path. But it's I don't know, it's like almost like reconnecting with your tribe, maybe. You know, do you know what I mean? If this kind of makes sense. And I think it's a good time. It's a good time for you.
All right, last but not least, your first for Shannon.
Shannon. Dun dun dun. King of Wands. Could get into selling insurance. No, I joke. But you might. This I love this card. It's very much this to me. It was really funny. I was thinking of was it Go West the other day that did a lot of the songs on Pretty Woman? They did some of the ones, and one of them was the King of Wishful Thinking. Was that Go West? I can't remember. But again, this is like, this to me, this is the King of Wishful Thinking. This individual here has got, you know, obviously the ability to really dream big. And I think you need to start doing that. I think you need to start embracing your creativity and taking your glass ceiling out of the way.
Well, there's a lot of great lyrics there. I'll get over you, I know I will. I'll pretend my
the
ship's not sinking.
yeah. No, talk about the 80s. There you go.
Yeah, no, really.
That's it. But this really is quite. I mean, you think about the name Go West. What was it about? Go West, young man. You know, it's about
Gold Rush.
Yeah, you know, building for yourself a new life
Rather than going to Summerland.
Oh yeah. So this is like, but it is almost like chasing the sun if you think about it. You know, when you go west, and I really feel that you need to start envisaging your place in the sun and just fucking seize it, girl. Just do it. You have the ability to think outside of the box. Stop putting constraints upon yourself. Stop telling yourself, oh, I can't, and this is beyond me, or whatever. That's too... Whoa. Smash that glass ceiling with a hammer if you need to, and just allow your thoughts to run freely. And that's what will guide you where you need to be, you know? Let, you know, the ship be your imagination, or the imagination be your ship, kind of thing. You've got to carry yourself forwards a bit here.
Don't be daunted by people you perceive as authority figures.
Yeah, well, respect my authority.
Maintain your sovereignty. Speak for yourself. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to burn bridges. But I think you have to be honest and not let someone have power over you or manipulate you. Yeah. Card of the week.
God, I love something. I'm going to have to go back and read the comments. There's just so many of them. I can't keep up with stuff.
Card of the week.
It's your turn to pick it. Not that we're going on strike, but it's your turn to pick it. Pick it. Go on. Locate that card.
All right. Queen of Wands.
Not terrible.
I think this is saying we're not going to be allowed to cheat this week. We're going to have to face the problem head on and process it. So use whatever this energy is for the highest good for yourself and others.
This tells me also bring your intuition to bear here. This little black meow. Bring your intuition to bear, because it's not so much what you can see, because appearances sometimes can be deceptive. Appearances can be deceptive, especially if somebody would lead you to come to a conclusion that is not exactly correct, but they're not going to stand in your way to have you come to the wrong conclusion, so to speak. So use your intuition to filter, and if it don't feel right inside, it probably isn't.
Yeah, big week, everybody. Really big week. The forecast, it's written in the stars. So put on your galoshes, take your umbrella, and be ready for the storm. And if you're ready and prepared, you can weather the storm.
Yeah. And just to come back to the book I brought up earlier, it did not result in global thermonuclear war. So,
well, we got this. We're just going to pray for peace.
I
think it's going to be pretty interesting.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of hidden agendas with ulterior motives going on at the moment the world over, and all we can do is try and
follow the money.
And follow the money. Yeah, well, that usually is a good clue to deciphering things. Follow the money, but yeah, try to feed love into a situation. And I think if I can give you one teeny tiny bit of advice, which for me always works as being the acid test when discerning whether something is true or not, simply ask yourself, is this coming from a place of love? And if the answer's no, it isn't. That is not true. That's the one thing you just can't fake. So there you have it. That's us.
Have a wonderful week, everyone, and we'll catch up with you on Monday.
We're so far behind.
See how you're doing.
We've had a heck of a weekend. It's been super
busy.
busy.
Oh my Lord, it's been hugely busy. We are so thankful and grateful. It was a wonderful couple of days. We had huge Craft of the Wise turnout, and just I can't even tell you how many things came in.
And went out.
We didn't even get the tarot scopes up, so they'll be going
my
up
job
today.
For today.
So you have your monthly forecast, and we also have a walk around of the store that I did, and we haven't gotten that put up yet.
I haven't even got
but
that.
But I think we even got another box of stuff after I did the walk around. I'm not sure. So time has just been all blending together, and the store is just cramming, jamming for the holidays. And thank you to all the people who came and redeemed their birthday gifts, because we had 3 Scorpios who came in and redeemed their gifts yesterday. So
I think people like that.
Peace and bright blessings, everybody.
Then. Have an amazing...
Stay on the lookout for Karma Points night, because we're going to have one of those too.
Oh, yes, we are. Oh, that's going to be fun. We'll talk to you more about that when we've got that. All right, well, watch this space cast, because there's more box
openings to come.
We have by far got everything in yet. There's more on the way. So
Peace.
have a beautiful, beautiful day. Have a wonderful week, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.